Camelot.
Okay, so this is by, I think, our joint favorite director of musicals at Lincoln Center, Bartett Sher. He did a beautiful My Fair Lady that was just made your heart sing. And one of his made your heart sing.
Also by Lerner and Lowe. My one problem with it was that he cut some of the songs, but otherwise an amazing production. And this is also Lerner and Lowe. This was their Broadway follow-up to My Fair Lady.
Right. Well, let me just finish the introduction, and then we'll have more of that. So this show was originally done in I think 1960, 61, somewhere around there, and I saw it, and I loved it. And it was Richard Burton and Julie Andrews. What was not to love? And Mordred was played by Roddy McDowell.
Don't forget Robert Goulet as Lancelot.
And Robert Goulet is a very slimy Lancelot. I mentioned My Fair Lady because the Freddie Einsberg in My Fair Lady is here playing Lancelot, and he's gorgeous and he sings like a prince. He's wonderful. And now we have a problem. The day that I went, Andrew Burnap, who was nominated for a Tony, was out, and we saw his understudy. And there was no time to go back and see Andrew Burnap.
Based on the Once and Future King, this is a reinterpretation with a new book written by Aaron Sorkin, who also did something, I guess you could say, similar with To Kill a Mockingbird, which of course is a play, not a musical. Whereas once there was literally magic in Camelot, in this revision, it's not. So when Arthur sings about the weather, Philippa Sue is saying, wait a minute, you're talking about perfect weather? This is England. And he looks back at her, it's a metaphor. And it's kind of, you sort of have to have a familiarity with Camelot to understand the irony, and I never feel that you should have to know a musical to understand what's going on in a revision of it. But that is how they do it. And for the most part, I think it works. Fritz Lowe, when Alan J. Lerner proposed it to him, he says, well, do we really want to do a show about a cuckolded husband? Which essentially, what happens, you have Arthur, you have him trying to create the round table, this right for might, this whole justice system, and you've got his wife fooling around with his best friend, essentially.
Well, you make it sound as if 1, 2, 3, they fall into bed together. That is
no.
What happens.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And there's a lot more to it.
I think the play, it is nuanced. It's not 1, 2, 3. They're fighting it. Arthur is aware of what's going on, but he doesn't take the proper action. And there were things that he could have done to have prevented it. Of course, had he taken that action, you wouldn't have a story. You wouldn't have a story. Oh no, he did know. He did know. At least it seemed to me he should have had a better awareness of what was going on, and he wasn't perhaps he is shown as not being as attentive to his wife. Look, he's the king. He's got he's trying to create this utopian society, and doesn't always have time for the woman he loves.
But I think he learns too late how much she means to him, and by then it's too late.
Yeah.
She's already made her choice, and he didn't know how to woo her really. They do all these things, but they're not close physically. Even though he's handsome, they're not close physically. Am I making sense to you, Charlie?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. She's got this beautiful, this amazing man that she's married to. Handsome, intelligent, sensitive, but not necessarily sensitive to her, and yet she falls in love. So understandable as such a thing can be. And remember, she does not end up with Lancelot. She ends up leaving with him, but she goes to a nunnery after they arrive back.
Exactly. And he goes
back.
Exactly.
And of course,
this is very much in. I don't know if it's Aaron Sorkin or not, but it leaves this in doubt as to whether they actually slept together at all or not.
Oh no! That I think in the original production, Richard Harris, who played the
original, yes. I'm saying in this production, I don't really get the sense.
Oh, in this production, I absolutely. To me, there's no question that they had an affair. There's no question.
Different actors make it feel differently, so you know.
Well, they're in a bedroom, etc. I mean.
No, I understand. That's okay. Doesn't necessarily mean consummation.
In my opinion, that was the intent.
Okay, I was less happy with the Mordred, who didn't have enough. I mean, he had some, but it wasn't. It didn't feel like it was interior. He had superficial sliminess. It didn't feel as if it actually owned his body. You know what I mean? And the Morgana Le Fay was very beautiful and she was a scientist.
Right.
She wasn't this. That's not what she was in the original. She was a sorceress.
Again, they take magic out of the equation.
I know, but that makes Morgan Le Fay like the woman in the laboratory who has glasses and her hair tied back. You know.
Well, Morgan is pretty much an afterthought here, or so it seems, and I think she plays a much lesser role. Arthur goes to her. They had this relationship. They had a son together. Any evil that she may have had in prior productions kind of left with the magic.
Yeah, I agree.
And consequently, not an overly interesting character.
Why did they remove the magic? I don't get it. There are a couple of Christian right religions, born again religions that feel that magic is evil, that feel that it's sinful.
Yeah, I don't think that crossed the minds of the creators of this show.
Say that?
I don't think that was the motive.
No, I don't think so either. But I mean, here's Aaron Sorkin, who's a very extraordinarily intelligent, middle of the road left wing Democrat in New York, taking out the magic, which was a very important aspect of this play.
Mm-hmm.
And also, something that I can't like I have to blame Bartett Sher for this because the director is in charge of everything ultimately. The dark black costumes in the beginning, the dark set and the black costumes. The knights never wore black leather. They looked as if they were coming from some gay bar somewhere. The black tight-fitting leather costumes are, I think, totally wrong for the Knights of the Round Table. Mm-hmm. When they were dressed up for a little color and they wore capes and whatnot. But those outfits, I mean, all they needed was a little, cap, and they would have been set to get on their motorcycle. Maybe in the next revival, that's who knows where you can go with this. Maybe there's a message about these three guys, but that was a very obvious message if that's what it was. And it was dark for so long. It was dark until after Lancelot came. It was dark until the very month of May.
Right. Well, maybe the weather isn't as cooperative in this Camelot as it has been in prior, and maybe Lancelot's arrival is the signal of Arthur's vision.
It's possible.
Coming.
It's possible.
My overall feeling was, in somehow, the score is, of course, there's perhaps arguably their second best after My Fair Lady. The title number, of course, became the theme of the Kennedy administration. And they've got some wonderful numbers here. You've got some good performances. I did like Andrew Burnap as Arthur, Philippa Sue as Guinevere, and Jordan Donica as Lancelot. None of the performances stood out to me. It just kind of, basically, I found the show just kind of melding together. And
how was Philippa Sue's voice for you?
Fine. Look.
Could she reach the notes? Because the afternoon I was there, and it was a matinee, and she had a whole evening to do as well. Her voice was weak. Her voice was very small. I've heard her sing, and she has a beautiful voice.
I saw her on a Sunday matinee, and I had no problems with her voice. I mean, certainly she's not Julie Andrews, but I have yet to see anybody who is, except Julie Andrews, so.
No, but we've seen Philippa Sue sing full out, and it's a lovely voice. She didn't seem able to reach the note. I kept thinking, why didn't they lower it for her? And then I thought, that's not real. She had no problem on the evening that I saw. She might have been thrown by the understudy. Then it's very possible.
Could be. All in all, I did enjoy this Camelot. I will give it 4 playbills, which may be a little generous, but I think even though the magic is gone, I still did enjoy this production. I like the way they framed the relationships. It's still, hard when you're seeing a man like Arthur wronged like that, but I think they handled that aspect of it as well as they could, and I did enjoy this production. But I miss the magic.
Well, taking the magic out and making it longer doesn't make sense to me, but it did run long. It ran very long. It seemed very dodgy. That's the first thing. The second thing is Philippa Sue deserves a special award for being able to run in little flats around the stage and whip her cape around. She looked absolutely gorgeous whenever she moved. She just made a picture. She was just lovely. And that takes skill it's like a matador's cape when you're running around a lot. But overall, 3.5, it was weak. I saw the understudy. I'm sorry. I mean, again, vocally he was superb, but visually it didn't make it for me.
It's true. It's true. The Crown has made it clear. The climate must be perfect all the year. A law was made a distant moon ago here. July and August cannot be too hot. And there's a legal limit to the snow here in Camelot.
And try to make each precious day one you'll always rue. It's May.